Thank you to Hairpin Art Center for being our streaming partner. AnySquared Spotlight Art Talks highlight member and friend artists of all ages and experiences.
Yo solamente pienso en ti. Yo solamente pienso en ti.
I always forget. So, welcome to everyone to AnySquared Spotlight. And today we are sharing. Oh my God, I I forgot what I was going to say. So, Alfonso Piloto Nieves Ruiz is our guest today, and we are having an art talk, and it's very exciting. He's a sculptor. He's very philosophical sculptor, and he also does all kinds of art, including murals, and works with children. And he teaches, and he is pretty amazing. And one of the things that I would like to know is, some of your history, is how you got into art, and also what happened in your life that led you to be an artist, and also your background as a person, where you come from, all of these kinds of things. So go ahead and let us know, Piloto.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone who's here and who's listening. Well, my name is Alfonso Piloto Nieves, as you know. I started making art since very early age. I remember art was like kind of my helper to cope, with the problems of the neighborhood in Mexico and the family. I mean, the house, the neighborhood, like any situation. And my background, it's from my parents are from La Sierra Gorda de Guanajuato, the highlands of Guanajuato. And from my mother's side and from my father's side, it's in Querétaro, and the area of Colón. All this in the center of Mexico. And like, if we can put the slideshow so you can see kind of where I'm coming from and why I made art, why I started making art. So yeah, this is the title, Es cultura de barro y basura, but I play with the words over there. Like escultura is a sculpture, but also escultura is culture. De barro y basura is like of clay and garbage, you know? So it's a culture of garbage and clay, and also it's a sculpture of garbage and clay. So I use clay because clay is I use it as a symbol of the earth, and that's what we are. And like everything comes from that, and we all have a relationship with the earth, sky, you know, sun, and we are all related through that. And the garbage, I use it because it's what we create due to our mental garbage, you know. So I'm gonna show you the first slide. So you can see that's my mom's side of the family. There's my mom on the left side of the screen. And all that is my family right there. And I grew up in a rural a part of Querétaro in the industrial zone, and I was like half a block of Celanese, a factory. Celanese, I think, is pronounced, from United States. And next to that factory, if you want, you can go to the next one so you can see that factory. Actually, that was kind of the view of what I had growing up all the time from 10 years old. And in that you can see all those plants and that kind of yeah, all those plants and kind of little bushes. That was a river that was running from north to south. And if you follow that river, probably like uh, a mile, it will start the next little town. Our neighborhood was the like the last neighborhood of the city of Querétaro to the north side. And then it was like little pueblitos, right? And it was like all these little pueblitos use that water for their daily life. But if you follow that river, let's say like 5 miles, 6 miles, it was the town of Juriquilla. And Juriquilla is the richest town in Querétaro, where I am from. And they have like a dam where they keep the water, and they put white sand on their side, you know, and they used it for whatever they wanted, you know, like fun activities like skiing and stuff like that. Meanwhile, they only let the water go just little by little to the towns and for the people, you know. And when it got to Celanese and Black and Decker, they pollute the river. And I was living next to this factory, and in my new neighborhood, we didn't have running water every single day. We only have water like every other day, you know. So you have to save water all the time. So I was very aware of the use of water and how the people value this water, right? And since it was my neighborhood was close to the mountains, I will go all the time to look for anything from nopales, cactus, garambullos, and tunas, pitayas, all that for eating, you know, and play all the time in the dirt along the river. And that's where my love for clay started. But I didn't know until I came to United States. I came to United States in 1997, and I started. I came blinded as everybody else, searching for the American dream. And then I discovered myself in the American nightmare, like being exploited and not paid, very well paid, and I could only work for cash because I didn't have a social security number. And I started working as a busboy and as a dishwasher, and then after 3 years, is when I started getting more depressed and started using like more alcohol and stuff like that, just to cope with missing my family and my friends in my town since I was undocumented. So in 2000, I started creating art, but until 2001 is when I started showing my art. And we can go to the next slide if you like. So we can start. For since 2000 to 2007, I was creating different pieces of art, but made out of garbage. When I was working in my different jobs that I had, I was very, as I said, very down, very depressed, and I was just like doing an introspection of what is my role in this life, and also thinking what I would love to do with my life. And then is when I saw myself since early age making art, and art was the thing that made me feel the best and made the time fly and made everything easier, like I could express myself more through art than with words. And because I have so many things that come to my mind that I cannot put them in words sometimes, so that's what I started creating art. So 2001 I made my first one until 2007. um, and Christmas, before Christmas 2007, my place burned down, the studio burned down. And before 2007, I didn't even want to sell my art because I was like, I'm just making my art for myself. I used to work at that time as a waiter. Um, um, until 2006. 2007 is when the place burned down. But until 2006, I was just like trying to make a living, working 3 days a week, and making my art. And when I decided to jump as a professional artist, it was the scariest moment in my life to be like undocumented and try to make it as an artist, and with broken English and no documents and basically no knowledge than waiting tables, and but art was like very welcome, or I was very accepted with what I was doing at that time, that people started inviting me to different shows. I started winning art competitions, and like I kind of believed that I could make it, and that's how I started. So after the 2007 fire, this is the first piece I made after the fire. So this is para regresar a mis raíces. No necesito estas muletas, but I used to say it, estas pinches muletas, And it's when I started making even more work inside of my thoughts and what I had. And you can see it's a mass. Now that I see, it's just a mass. It's just like a bunch of different stuff that was like bothering me. And I use more my art as a way of cleansing and expressing myself and finding a way of communicating the best I can, because one thing takes you to a whole bunch of things, you know, like you cannot explain only one thing without giving explanation why. So I'm trying over there. And as you can see on the bottom, is like this guy coming out of a root, just like opening his hands and having his hands as roots and his roots as wings, right? We can go to the next one.
This is one of my favorite ones of yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So the next slide.
It's my favorite.
Yeah. This one is El Adicto. And El Adicto, it's talks about the human condition of, of us these days, you know, like how we are all addicted to so many things, but we only see a problem when we see a person like this, you know, like it's very beaten by their drug or whatever they're using, and like on the ground, you know, like the lowest point. And I think you know, like we are kind of in that, but we have hope because we have that little child inside, which is our consciousness, who's trying to free ourselves from our own brain that is all confused through all this mass that is going on, you know. And he's pressing with the right hand his brain, and the child is coming out from his own hand and trying to free himself, you know. And the left hand, he's like crushing his heart. And this picture, you know, like pictures doesn't make any justice to the sculptures, because like on the back of the picture there is the back of the head is a gel where this guy is laying down on his own tongue, like resting on his own tongue. And even though he's like very wasted, he has like angel wings, and he's fine. And in his face he's like just like kind of suffering, right? And on the back is like a zipper that is open, and it has a bunch of like maggots, and all the maggots have like no eyes, only one has eyes. And that one who has eyes has like a little light, a little mirror on his chest, and it's just like surprised that he can see still. And that is the thing, you know, like when you are in a place where you feel like you cannot go, there is one little voice that tells you that you can still go in, you know, that you have a chance. And I put that little mirror over there so people, when they are passing by or when they are looking in, they can see their reflection and they can recognize themselves, not as like, hey, there's me with the baseball cap and the glasses, but more about their place where they are, and see the reflection of how we are as human beings, and also as yeah, like if we are really doing our part, you know, with one another, and if we're gonna let ourselves be this low, you know, or don't help the brother or sister that is laying down. Yeah, we can go to the next one if you like. Or if you have any questions too about these ones, just let me know, you know. Yeah, you can see it there better. Yeah.
I was wondering like why you have the bag on there, and so what's in the bag?
Yeah, it's
Not
full
all
of
the refuge.
garbage. It's full of garbage. Usually, this was used for the photo shoot, but usually I open it, like I make holes. You know, when you drag the garbage bags, and they always break and starts like, uh, you know, like all the garbage starts spreading. And I usually put like newspapers with newspapers ads, because I feel this guy, what's his name? I forgot his name. Um, Saramago. He said that the real, where the really where the whole society is in the ads of the newspapers. You know, is not in the front page, is not. It's at the time where, you know, when the newspapers were the social media like these days, you know, but it's in the ads where we really can see where we are right now. And that like I felt it really deep, because it's true, because I see how we have been manipulated through the through our egos and through our fears, you know, and how we have been sold all the time, and how we make everything we can to be liked, and what we do to uh, to kind of avoid our fears, you know, like anything. You know, like we can talk about anything here. From aging, from like diseases, from many things, you know. And that's how we got control. And that's why we have like, we tend to buy and buy and buy, you know, like, yeah. So that's why the garbage bag. Next, I was already in another place in my life, as you can see. It wasn't more about the screams and all that stuff. This one is when my son was born, and it's called Niño Espejo. It's like mirror child and migrant child. It's a long name for the sculpture, but it says Anáhuac Tahuantinsuyu vuela de nuevo. Anáhuac is how the America was known, the north part, from Mexico, you know. And then Tahuantinsuyo is how the Incas used to call it, you know. And vuela de nuevo is like it flies again. So the child is having his left hand turning into a condor, representing the south, and the right hand turning into an eagle, representing the north. And the north, it's like, you know, like and he's like kind of like in the middle, right? So the north is North America and South America, right? So those are like the birds that represent each side, you know. In Mexico we have the golden eagle, here we have like the bald eagle, and in the south is the condor. Those are our birds of of prey, you know. And it has a hummingbird on his left side on the head, and that is representing the willpower. Like, we can go to the next one if you like. Oh, yeah, that one. You can see here better. So he's like, it's himself, like jumping from his heart, you know, like kind of like freeing himself. And as you can see, the hands are like falling apart, and into little, like all the rocks are turning into birds, and until they started kind of like growing into this big eagle or the condor. Yeah, and the wings of the child are roots. I have this saying like, um, your roots are your wings, so fly. you know, and that's what happened to me. When I came, like, people will ask me about my culture, and I didn't know anything about my culture. You know, like, I was just so busy in Mexico. I was busy, like, with life and American football and looking up to United States movies, heavy metal bands. You know, all the time looking to Europe and to United States, and actually, that's what brought me here, because I used to have a heavy metal band, by the way, and I used to scream in that band. And I remember uh,
What was the name?
uh, we were las ruinas malditas. The like them debris damned, or yeah. And anyway, I jumped from a stage and I hit my head, and that ended my career as a football player, because I was playing football too. Since I couldn't play football, since I couldn't scream anymore, like, I decided to come to the United States, and here I found myself that I didn't know anything about my culture, you know. And people will ask me, like, hey, so have you been at Tulum? Have you been at, like, I don't know, Teotihuacan? And I'm like, man, I never travel in Mexico, you know. So I started digging into all the garbage until I found my roots, you know. And I saw and I felt that, like, hugging to my roots. I started flying, you know. I started, like, really uh, getting around much better, like, knowing, like, I started digging into my own history with my family. And after like, almost 13 years, 12 years, and being here undocumented, I was able to go to Mexico again. And it has been, like, used a constant searching for more information and more information, and I eat that for as a fuel for my work, you know. And that's what it has. This is the point where I am right now. Let's go to the next one, please. This one on the left side is called "In the Name of Progress." En el nombre del progreso. And it was shown, I made that one for the 30 years of the Mexican Fine Arts and here in Chicago. And they invite us, they selected 30 artists. So one artist for 30 for each year. And this piece, as you can see, is just full of garbage and the bottom. And it's a chain that is flying around and is cutting all the roots of this Statue of Liberty, and is cutting her hair, her trenza, and the hair is like the power, the memory, you know, and the way uh, our ancestors braid their hair, you know, like for strength and all that. And as when we were being colonized, we were all the time like they cut our hairs, you know, to forget about our cultures. So, but the trenza, that braid is turning into an eagle in the back over there. And the front, we don't have a picture from the front, I think, but on the front there is like hands and hearts as the Coatlicue the Coatlicue Tonantzin, which is the one with the skirt of serpents, our venerable Mother Earth. And it has a skull in the front. So when you see inside the skull, it's like a baby skull that I put there. And when the baby skull it's coming out. It's very flexible. So I put it like kind of open. So I put a mirror inside, and when people see the inside, each quarter, because it's cut in four, you know, in each corner, it's a color of each corner of the universe, as each direction, and it has like stars and stuff like that. So when you see you see inside, you see yourself in the center, you know, and it has her saumador, or to burn copal in the hand, and it's the very traditional way to acknowledge all the directions every single day, every single morning, um, to see, to recognize where you are, you know, and knowing where you are and knowing who you are, then you wouldn't get lost, you know, and this path. And the right side, this is actually um, a piece called El Materialista, the Materialist, and is made out of recycled metal, and that is made just by hammering. It was the first time I made hammering the sculptures like this, so that's what came out. Yeah, can go to the next one if you
I
like.
just like
Or
for
do you have any questions? Yeah, you're mute.
I always forget to unmute. So all of the pieces, I love the fact that all of your pieces have so many details and so many pieces in them, and
Yeah,
so much stuff that you got from the garbage and things like that. It's like it's amazing all the details that you have in there and how they interact and intertwine. And each little section of this one tells a story, has different stories in each one. Like you
yeah,
have the flying planes, and then you have the drugs, and then you have the credit cards with the thing, like with the drugs, and then the chains, and there's
educate.
so many pieces. and
Yeah,
and it's like each of your sculptures have like many stories within them, and that is what to me is amazing. It's like this one has many stories within it,
yeah,
and then it's also a whole, so
yeah,
I'm always struck by how many different small stories that you have in every piece. Like this one where you have the little child flying out of the heart, and the bird, and you have all these different pieces. And I don't want to reiterate it. This is something that I love about your work.
oh, thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the thing is that I don't know, many people tell me all the time, like, man, you have like so many sculptures in one sculpture, you know, like you should make a bunch of sculptures and just make a show with all these different sculptures that you will have put in only one sculpture. And I'm like, man, you know, the thing is that all these thoughts, all these things that come to my mind every single day, and like, for example, the addict, you know, like the addict, or like any sculpture, they are not born just like that, you know. They are like a pile of stories that I have lived, you know, a pile of stories that I have seen in friends, in my own personal life, and my own experience. And then one day I'm like, just out of nothing, like maybe it can happen in a dream, maybe it can happen. I'm sorry, it can happen. I'm like choking with my own saliva. That's a sign. uh, Maybe it happened like when I'm like eating or something that just comes, and I'm like, oh, this because this and this and this and this and this, and I want to put it all, you know. Yeah. Okay, ¿dónde nos quedamos? Where we are. Yeah, and this one, well, this is our like the immigration marches. Um, well, this one, it has a long story. We could have a talk about this one, but just to resume it, this one we made it a bunch of people but as always, you know, like sometimes people said like, yeah, let's do this, and we'll see you tomorrow, and then tomorrow nobody comes. You know. And then they are like, everybody's calling like, hey, how was this sculpture, or how was this project? And you're like, I'm just doing it myself, you know. And until they see, like after 2 days, 3 days, that they see that you don't stop, they start coming, you know. And then we have a bunch of people. And this one, it was like the very first one that I made like that scale. And we tried to make them like to show more with boxes, so all the boxes you could see them, you know, that they were boxes, because it's like what United States is, you know. Statue of Liberty that is from France, and everything is imported. You know. So yeah. And this one, we were carrying it in a pickup truck, and when we were passing by a bridge, the hand flew off. And then we have to put it back. You know, I was sleeping on the back of the truck, and I didn't see it until we got to Union Park. And they were like, hey, Piloto, we have this the hand fell off. And I was like, what? So let's put it back. So that's why all the flags are tied up like that, you know. But and that picture, it was by Jose, I forgot his name. ¿Cómo se llama el mean face, Marisol? Jose, I forgot his.
Yo le tengo otro apodo.
Sí,
José Concepción something.
yeah, well, anyway, you know which Jose.
Yeah.
The guy with the smile upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
El enojón, el enojado.
Yes. Yeah. But that specific picture, it was really great, because like when we got to Grand Park, it was packed of people that we couldn't go anymore. So they said like, well, we're gonna stay here because we cannot go. And I'm like, no, let's pick it up and let's do like a body surfing. So I started asking everybody to pass it on, and people started like taking it all the way to the front stage. And I run like on the side to get to this spot. And you could see the Statue of Liberty that was just like navigating, like coming closer and closer to the front stage. And like the speakers who were like at that time, everybody stopped, and they stopped speaking, you know. And everybody were like screaming. It was like a roar, you know, like Wah! And when they placed it, boom, right there, it was like amazing. And it was more like crazy when everybody left, and then we used to stand up, like sit down on top of this on top of the sculpture, because we didn't have a ride back to La Villita.
Oh.
You were stuck there?
Yeah, we were stuck there with our Statue of Liberty. Yeah. Then we used to started like breaking it apart so we could put it in a truck. You know, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Next one, yeah, so many stories. Yeah, this is another one. This is the next year. This one was so quick. Like I started getting more knowledge in how to build them fast. This one, it was made from one day to the next one. The Statue of Liberty, yeah. And it's still very powerful that day. A really great reaction of people.
I remember both of those marches.
Yeah.
They were pretty amazing and super huge.
Yeah.
There was such a good energy.
Oh yeah. I thought like the giant finally woke up, but then nothing happened. Like the
Yeah.
energy, like we got divided as always, and started like, egos all the time, breaking everything, and that's it. Now we're all divided again, but hopefully we make consciousness. A ver, next
There are
one.
moments of coming together again.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, this is the next one. Again, all the stuff is made out of used cardboard. Yeah, and we can go to the next one. Just pass. This it was made in Evanston with Sylvia, with Edwin, with Neil, and her boyfriend, and a bunch of guys that were from the neighborhood. Um, Ken, the guy on the ladder, he was from. I remember he was cutting class one day, and it's when we used to started the mural, and he was with his backpack and his skateboard, and he was just standing there, and I'm like, hey dude, like, do you wanna participate? And he's like just moving his shoulders like that, and I'm like, hey, you're cutting class, right? And he's like, no, we finished. And I'm like, so where is the rest of the people? you know? and and he's like, no, yeah, I did it. And I'm like, so you better help us here, like, how about you help us? And he's like, okay. So he dropped his backpack and started painting with us. And at the end of the day, it was like 7 p.m. And his mom was working all day long. But at the end of the day, he's like, hey, what can I do to be part of your crew? And I'm like, what do you mean part of our crew? Yeah, I want to be painting with you guys. And I'm like, you are part of our crew. You already ate tacos with us. You already painted since we started, and it's the end of the day. So go bring your mom, and I want to talk to her, so this is gonna be your after school stuff, but I want you back in the school every day, and at 3:15 you are here. And he's like, okay.
Aw,
It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
you're beautiful.
Thank you, Marisol. La próxima, please. Next one. This is also in Evanston. I have been working a lot over there with children, and like here, like everybody makes their own tile. Like here they have a community about 600 students, 500 students, and like, I don't know, but we involve all the staff, uh, the lunch ladies, the bus drivers, everybody, the janitors, and yeah, and it's really cool. This is the finished piece. And, the next one is the finished piece. Yeah, and that one.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Where's this Dewey Elementary?
Dewey, yeah. Yeah, also with Sylvia Kusiak helped me there too. She's a really great artist. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, and Betty Herrera, that she helped me there too. Can we go to the next one, please? This one is in Evanston too. It's in YOU. Yeah. And this one also was made with the community there. And also we involved the Fifth Ward over there on Evanston. And I invited a couple of friends for installing, but I like always to put them in the in their credits too.
Uh-huh.
So it's Jamie Lynn Porton and another friend of Fossil. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. The
Beautiful.
next one, please.
So all the
Where is this one, Piloto, again?
And Evanston too, and YOU.
YOU.
In the fifth ward. Yeah.
so all those little tiles are also made by
By
the
the community members.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. So the tiles and circular tiles like that, I used love to make them like this because we talk about community, we talk about cycles, we talk about the circle, and how
Yeah.
everything, every single shape comes from the circle, and we talk about sacred geometry, you know, and then from there we talk about like how we think that we're about ours, only about one person, individual, and how we make us to compete with others, you know, to confuse us. And but
Mm-hmm.
the thing is that inside of ourselves there are more than 50 trillion cells, and every cell works in perfect harmony with one another to make our bodies well, you know. And if one part is getting sick, everybody works to share the resources to help and heal that part. And us as humans, we don't do that. You know, we just see ourselves separate, and if something is happening in another part of the world, or like another person got I don't know, shot or whatever, like we don't even care, you know.
Yeah.
We just want more and more. So yeah, so all those talks go with the workshops and those little tiles, and to see that, and to make them see that like every single piece is different as us, but all together we make it beautiful. And if we are all in harmony, we can have like a perfect picture, right?
Right.
Yeah. We can go to the next one. This one is another one, and another
Wow.
elementary school. And all the time with the children, I try to make it more as children's, you know, like I don't want to scare them with my stuff. You know. So I just make them more like child focus, you know.
Yeah.
And this one is talks about immigration, with the butterfly and the hands, you know, that transform things, and also how butterflies transforms itself, you know. But the butterfly, the monarch butterfly, how um, it follows its path, and it make it the butterflies that leave Mexico all the way to Canada. Uh, it has to take like 4 generations to make the full trip, the full cycle. It's not only one, you know. And the ones that are dying in the way, and the ones that are, I mean, like the ones that are born follow the path instinctively, and
Uh-huh.
following the path of their dead ones, you know.
Uh-huh.
And also the the immigrants, once we
Mm-hmm.
get here, after one generation we lose our track, and we don't know who we are, and then we just feel entitled of everything, you know. And the hummingbird, I have this hummingbird with the heart, like representing willpower, and yeah, and with Silopochtli, which is the hummingbird of the left, or from the left. Okay, next one, please. And this one is for Ayotzinapa. Um,
Can you
as you know,
talk about that so people know what it is who are
yeah,
watching may not be aware?
yes, yes. So Ayotzinapa, it's a struggle that happened in Mexico, where the students from Isidro Burgos rural school. It was like a school where people go to become a teacher, but it's in this little town, and it's in Guerrero, Mexico. So this school, like the government doesn't like this school because they say that it's like a cradle of revolutionary people, because what they do um, is that they train their students to be very well prepared and to go to the different communities and teach them how to read and how to defend their lands, you know, from all these corporations that always go there and plan their industries and try to to take their land, you know. And these students were going to protest the massacre of students in 1968 in Tlatelolco, en la Plaza de las Tres Culturas, and they in Mexico City, and then they were like taking buses to take their students from this school, Isidro Burgos, to Mexico City and do the protest. But the police intercepted these buses. They have 4 buses, and they intercepted the buses, and then they kill 6 people that day, and they took 43 people. So since 2015 or 2014, yeah, they have been missing. Just 2015. Oh, what year is today? Yeah, it's a long time, man. And they have been still, their parents still look searching for them, and they haven't been able to find them. So this is a video that I was making when I was making the faces, and all I had was these pictures from their IDs for the school. Some of these children don't have any pictures of themselves because they are from little towns, and their families, they don't even have pictures of them, but these pictures, you know, of their IDs for the school. So I have no profiles, no nothing. And it was like really crazy to be making these portraits because it was very heavy, you know, very heavy, to be like making this guys. And while I was listening to my son that was laughing and running on the, I was working on the basement and he was running in the first floor, you know, like this little guy right there. And I'm just thinking about their mothers, you know, like some of the mothers of the children who were disappeared were appearing in news. So I was taking like screenshots of their profiles, you know, pausing them and making the screenshots so I could get their profiles. And like a bunch of friends got together and started helping me to cut the circles, to paint the guys, you know, and it ended up as a community project too. Yeah. And it's still going on with this project, still right now, still in Denver. It got stuck there for COVID. Yeah, but it's a traveling show. Yeah. You can go to the next one. This one is in the Rocky Mountains, with the United Cultures for Art and Nature. These guys invited me to work with the students from all over United States. If you guys have any, or any student from 14 years old to 18 years old. They are welcome to come to these camps. They do it every year and different places. Sometimes they do it in Puerto Rico. Sometimes they do it in the Rocky Mountains, and also they do it in Mexico. And what they do is that they put a bunch of artists and scientists and activists to talk about different issues related to the global warming, like all ecological stuff, you know. And this year they invited me, and I invited a friend, David Manzanares, to help me with these sculptures. And we worked with the students, and we made 12 sculptures all together with the students from different women that some of them have been killed and some of them need protection. For example, Berta Cázares from Honduras on the left side, she's supposed to come to this to the museum to give a talk, but she couldn't because she was killed, you know. And then we have Atia Tikwa on the right from Colombia. She protects the seeds. And then we have ay, ¿cómo se llama this woman? It's also from Honduras. Oh, I have the name on my mouth, but I cannot remember it. It's the man, I'll come back. I won't sleep until I remember, and it will come back. Yeah, we can go to the next one. Otherwise, I will be here like beating myself. Ah, there's Marisol.
Aw, you're cute. Aw.
We were at the pipeline in North Dakota, and we just came to the dumpster. We jump into the dumpster, and we used to start pulling materials and make this sculpture. And with the pressure of a helicopter flying around us and taking pictures of us, and like really low. And that experience was amazing. Like just to see like the how organized were everybody, and how people were together and not taking any, I mean, just letting the Native Americans really be the ones who had the voice, and the women who were doing the ceremonies for the water. It was beautiful, and giving the place to the elders and to the young people, you know. When we got there, remember, Marisol, we got there
Yes.
with that at
Unforgettable.
the and like all these young men just came surrounding the truck, and they were like, who are you, you're lost? You know.
Yeah.
But it was like uh, uh, um it was really cool because the guys were acting like warriors, and the women were like the ones who talk, you know. And it was really like mind-blowing, and also making you feel, and making you like feel that you're like one, you know, in community, working for one thing all together, you know.
Yeah.
And this is the entrance. They put it at the entrance. Like one of the guys that was riding his horse, he stopped and he's like, hey, this is really cool, we should put it in the front.
Yeah.
No, and then they were like, let me, I said like, can we ask permission to put it in the front? And then he was like, yeah, let me go ask for permission. So he went like right away in his horse, and then he came back. He's like, yeah, we're welcome to bring it. And as we were walking, just like everybody like making noise. And it was really nice. Like at the end, we're blessed, you know, and it was beautiful experience. You can go to the next one if you like, or if you have any questions. Yeah, this is for the immigration march in 2017. And this march, it was really crazy because like I was asked to help these people who wanted to create all these puppets, right? And I accepted, and I helped them make these things. I showed them how to make them and stuff like that. And then when we went to the march, I said like, hey, just like the art is enough. We don't have to do anything, you know, and just to show the art, let the art
Mhm.
talk. But
Yeah.
man, like these people were just like confronting police, but since they were like some like, I don't know, like they were young and confronting police and women, and you know, like I was like, oh man, let's just keep it easy because like I'm in process, you know, like I'm trying to keep it easy. And it ended up like everybody beating them the puppets and then just leaving the garbage over there, which was fine for me, but it was crazy, you know. Here's another protest of Peña Nieto in front of the Mexican consulate, you know. A child breaking the piñata. Yeah, this was with Tonatiu and Carolina. Yeah, we can go to the next one. And this is at UIC. We work with garbage and with this thing about um, your roots are your wings. We're making birds, you know, and putting them in a heritage garden where all the people plant their plants from their countries, and then they share food. It's really great program they have there. Like they do a beautiful work in this Latino cultural center there.
Yeah.
If you ever have a chance to go there,
Yeah.
go visit it. And the murals inside are by Hector Duarte. Yeah, you can go to the next one if you like. Oh, here's an Evanston too, and I'm working with these children breaking tiles, and I make them write on the back of the tiles stereotypes and things that they don't like, you know, and then just breaking them with the hammer or a rock or whatever.
Mhm.
I put like tape and some cushion on the back of the hammer because some children put it really close to their face. And they go crazy once they break the first tile. They go like, oh my god, and they want to go crazy because we are all the time told not to break anything, you know, but once they you tell them that you're free to break it, they just go crazy. And the coolest thing is that I ask them to put stuff that they don't like about anything, and then when we place it, everybody plays their piece in the mural to show them that everything is cool, like when we're all together. All
Yeah.
this, we can go next one. This is in Puerto Rico. We're making faces. Yeah, for a mural too, their own faces. Um, yeah, this one is in Chicago Public Art Group on the left, and the right one is in Evanston too. Yeah, I have been working with the community in Evanston the past 11 years already. Yeah, and I like the Latino population over there.
I have some
I mean,
I have some questions about like you as a teacher. Are you doing these workshops and doing these things? And I know that you also teach. Maybe you can talk a little bit about your teaching and what you're doing.
yeah. I mean, usually I go from school to school to give workshops and to any place they invite me. And usually what I do is just talk about different social issues or what the teacher wants to talk about. If they have any any topic they want to incorporate art with their curriculum, I just help them to or a lesson, you know, like to turn a lesson, one of their lessons, into art, so the children get um, more uh, deep into the project. Yeah, and yeah, this one is about the project 545, and it's about children that were separated at the border, and I mean from their parents, you know, and every children and parents are making a face. I made a mold, so I use like uh, it's like a press mold, and then I take the face and I give them to the children and to the parents, the students, you know, and then they can modify it as they want and do whatever they want to kind of reflect what they feel. uh, like I ask them to think as the children who's been separated. As you can see, the one in the middle is broken, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we are like in about the 400s right now. I have been doing this like all over I have been doing it in Berwyn and Cicero, and south side of Chicago. I'm gonna start doing another one in the west side too, here in Pilsen. And I'm connecting this project with the Native American who have been found on for the boarding schools,
Yes.
because it's the same. They are like being separated from their parents. And this case of the 545, with this law called tolerancia cero, zero tolerance.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, zero tolerance, that criminalizes people who tries to cross the border. And in the meantime, uh, they are being processed. The children are separated, and sometimes they get deported, and the children stay here in the United States. Like they have been parents that commit suicide, and while waiting, I mean, while being separated in the jail, you know. Here's like, we can play the video, we can continue talking about them. As you can see, they can do anything they want, you know, they can modify them as they wish. And and yeah, it's what we are trying to do. It's this is also together with the program of Northeastern University. I'm working with them, just to talk more about the children, you know, and their rights, you know, because United States, and I don't remember the other country in the world that they haven't signed the treaty of the children's rights, you know, with the United Nations. And yeah, so these children that have been separated um, are like being put into these cages, and they said right now that they have been trying to reunite them with their parents, but I don't know what's gonna happen to them, you know, like, yeah. Hopefully they get reunited and get compensated, but a trauma like that, it will never be compensated with anything, you
Right.
know. Nothing can compensate that.
It's a tragedy.
Yeah, it's a tragedy. It's a heartbreaking for everybody.
It will be formative for all the children.
Yeah, and they're trying to break their spirit. You know, they or our spirit. Yeah, we can go to the next one. The same here is like the same. This is the group of dancers. Nawi Olin Huehuecoyot, and they are like opening and cleansing the space while we walk. And when we made this cage, we had butterflies outside flying free like that, and the ones that are inside they had a tin foil. It's like to represent those blankets that are given to the children while they are in custody, and and the children, when we got there, they were like, why don't we jump in? And I'm like, ask your parents, you know, if your parents are okay, you being in the cage is okay. So a bunch of children got in there, and then they were just laughing and everything, and I'm like, but remember, these children are like stuck in a jail, you know, and being separated from their parents. So just think about that. And then when we started walking and people were taking pictures, they were all like really serious and but very powerful. It was that march. Yeah, yeah, here we are. We can go to the next one. There's Jerry. Yeah.
So we can show the little video, and
Yes.
and then maybe end with just a wrap up, because you've
Yes.
explained everything really, really well. So thank you so much. Um, we'll go to the video.
Yes, please. My name is Alfonso Piloto Nieves Ruiz, and I'm a self-taught artist from Querétaro, Mexico. Art gives power. Art awakes people. Through art, you can say things more direct, and images stay more in your head. I see more my art as a way of a cleansing process for myself. And since I talk about different social issues, I try to make the viewer to see it from a raw lens. I mean, to kind of shake them or make them look the ugly part, but in between all the ugly, if you look good, there is something good. In everything bad is something good. So in all my sculptures, I kind of hide the good stuff, and among all the ugliness, and but only people who spend the time seeing or looking inside the sculpture find the good stuff. And usually the kids are the ones that find all the good stuff. And that tells me a lot too about how kids are more like they're more aware of things, and as a grown-ups we are all confused and we are all focusing on what we think is good for us, and the kids just go with whatever, you know. When I went to a Sundance with my cousins, he invited me, and when we were dancing around on the circle, it came to me like why I'm not coming back to my roots, you know. Like why I cannot be more connected to the earth. And that moment, every step that I was doing, I was feeling connected with the drum, with with the earth, with the sky, with every single little thing that I saw. And I think that was like the beginning that opened my eyes to connect myself. We are all one. And coming back to my roots, I mean that since we're all connected, we should know that everything that I do to you affects me too, you know, and that everybody should see that everything that happens, let's say, in Japan affects us too. Everything that happens in Mexico affects us here in the United States too. And sometimes we remove ourselves, then we need to go back to respect each other and to be more grounded. Since we're all connected, we should be acting like one instead of a bunch of fools fooling around. Preguntas.
I want to thank Piloto for screaming out what he has inside that a lot of us do as well, and we don't have the ability to express it in any form. And you make that big connection with me, and I want to thank you. I love you.
Thank you, Maricel. We are mirrors.
I want to thank you for doing this art talk for AnySquared because I really enjoyed it and I really appreciated how much you explained what you were doing with each piece and why you were doing it and how you were doing it and the fact that you use all these and the materials you use have purpose. My question is what kinds of things that you want to do, what do you want to do next? What is the new reimagining of you as an artist? Because you had mentioned that.
Yes, yes. I'm in the process, you know. I'm in the process of as you said, as every day, like reinventing ourselves. And more with this after this pandemic, or I mean, we're still in this pandemic and we act like it never happened, you know. Like right now outside is Lollapalooza, all these neighborhood uh, festivals, and everybody's just like nothing happened, you know. And I know life goes, you know, and we don't have too much time to be like complaining or to be like uh, how do you say, like with fear and stuff like this. But I think we should be more conscious about what is going on, you know, and around the world, and to be more conscious about our neighbors, about ourselves, you know, and right now my work is pointing towards that, to really see now um, like how can I spot more the light than the ugly, you know, because I always focus before on the ugly, and then from all the ugliness, when you see deep into the sculpture, you see the light, you know, you
Mhm,
see the little details that show you like, oh, there's something good about all this mass, you know.
mhm,
And
mhm.
now in this new work that I want to start doing is more about the light, you know, than
Oh,
focusing to the ugly all the time.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
A
Because
transformation. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
yeah, so let's see what starts coming out. I mean, I have been focused all this time on like on this restaurant that I'm opening in Evanston, and I'm decorating it with help of friends, you know, like Sonja here. She has she helped me. She's helping me right now to paint some butterflies. Um, Brenda, Carolka, Edwin, you know, like Tonatiu. I mean, many friends have helped me over there, like just painting these little dots all over the place, and making I'm making it like feel have a vibe of my work, but also like popular culture. You
Mhm.
know, it's like a mixture of alebrijes with um, these other indigenous tribes in Mexico. You know that, and also popular culture. You know, like La Catrina, but
Uh-huh.
with uh, with all these different cultures in Mexico. So
Mhm.
it's a weird restaurant. It's gonna be a weird restaurant, but focus on street food. Yeah, and yeah, I'm just trying to open that thing and to start working in my new work, and also a bunch of commissions that we're working on right now. Yeah.
What are you working on? What commission?
Well, right now we got this mural in Evanston. It's for a senior center. There's one. We have another project in Denver. We won this commission of two bridges. It's a whole team. But the lead artist there is David Ocelot Garcia. And uh, when they invited me to be the main artist of this team. But at first of all, I always think that when it's coming to public art, the artist has to do something with the neighborhood. And these specific neighborhoods where these bridges are put on, it's called Globule, Lyria is in Swansea. And these three neighborhoods have been neglected for so long, and they have been polluted for so long. And right now they're making the University of Colorado is making a water center for studying water, and also they are making a convention center. So they wanted to make these two bridges, and I thought that the good way to do it was to hire some artists from Colorado. So I picked David because I know he's an amazing artist, and I said like I can help with the community outreach and doing the community workshops, working with these three different communities and the different stakeholders over there. We're working with Anita Gonzalez and Jorge Figueroa, Paul. I don't remember his last name. Sorry, Paul. And if you see this, and and um, and AFCA, Americas for Conservations in the Arts, and those guys started a program called River Sisters, which connects the Colorado River from the cabecera, from the headquarters in Colorado all the way to San Luis Rio Colorado in Mexico. And they have all these beautiful projects. I'm blessed that I can be part of these projects that are like changing the culture there, you know, like, and we are inviting the Native Americans to be the to ask them permission first, and to the elders, and we're connecting these bridges to the sun and to the moon, and we're asking them, connecting them in the way that we have a scientist in the university that are gonna help us to give some information about this yeah, scientific stuff about the sun and about the moon, but we want the Native Americans to be the ones that their voice are heard before, because they have been protecting this land, and they have always said their stories, but barely they don't listen to any of this. As like, for example, we have the Aztec calendar that is not Aztec and is not a calendar, and then we have the Big Bang right there, and nobody wants to talk about that, but only when one guy comes and said like, oh, this is the Big Bang, and then they start like doing PhDs and stuff like that, is when they get the voice, and our native community never gets that opportunity. So we're focusing on that and giving the Native Americans the opportunity to express themselves. And with these bridges, the bridge of the sun and the bridge of the moon. And we're getting all the community to make these clay pieces that are gonna go into the bridge. And so each person becomes like a guardian of the bridge, you know. And what else? I have another one. I have two in Evanston more. One at Dewey Elementary School that is halfway, and another one that we are making in the Fifth Ward with the community too. And I'm making a book with children about, it's called Cuentos de Cuarentena. It's quarantine tales. And the children make their own illustrations with clay, and then the children write their stories. For example, this one is La Niña que quiere ir afuera y el monstruo, like the girl who wants to go outside and the monster. So the monster is COVID, and it talks about each child from third grade and Dewey for the bilingual program. They wrote their stories how their life got changed with the pandemic, because I'm like, the children are all the time like reading these books that adults write, but why not give them the opportunity to be the ones who write their stories, who speak up, and the ones that do their illustrations, and do it in Spanish. Because in Evanston, like for example, they do their reading competitions, and children from fourth grade, third grade, they have like novels, and our Latino children or Hispanic children, they give them like children's book with big letters and like drawings, like cartoonies, like cartoons. So it's like basically I don't know, like a way of discrimination there. Like we don't have the resources. So we want to do these stories like written by the children, and try to do this outreach to our community, and to show them that we can be writers, and illustrators, and we're doing this with the District 65, with the library, and Linea Contemporary Art Gallery. Yeah.
Thank you for describing all that stuff. It's amazing. Also, like, I really appreciate how everything that you do has a purpose. And I'm so glad that you shared your purpose with us, and also shared your love of like making room for children and making space for people, and sharing your art with many people and nurturing art within children.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for doing the art talk.
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap it up. And I am so happy we finally got to do an art talk with you, because everything that you shared with us was wonderful. And also shows how, art and activism can come together and do something wonderful, and also like highlight things. I this is what I love about your work the most, and why I asked you to be on this So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Abrazos to everybody.
Check social media for future Zooms and future streams.